Hi guys, Happy New Year. My name is Helga. I'm coming to you from Northern California, about 45 minutes north of San Francisco. And I am here with my first update for Flosstube for 2018. Today is Thursday, January 18th, and I'm here to talk to you about revised plans and year of whips. I can't imagine anyone doesn't know what this is, but Year of Whips started or is in a group called Soulful Stitching by Miss Melanie Watkins. Today is Miss Melanie's birthday. Happy birthday, Melanie. And the idea is that you choose between 15 and 18 projects with the intent of trying to complete half of them to be eligible for prizes, but it's just to motivate you to finish. I am a joiner of all the things, so I belong to all the cross-stitch groups. I try and participate in all the SALs. I completely overcommit myself and then I get really frustrated. So my goal for 2018 is to simplify. The way 2017 went, the crap that went down in 2017 left me feeling very overwhelmed, discouraged, frustrated, buried, discontent. I wasn't happy with the way that I was living my life and the way I was spending my time and the lack of joy I was finding in my hobbies. So for 2018, I'm approaching my crafting very differently. My intent is to work on a few of the SALs, have a few projects with goals for finish, and then I have 2 projects that I have no intention of finishing in 2018, but I'm doing merely out of the joy that they bring me just to think about them. And that's one of those projects where you come up with the idea and you cannot wait to start, and that excitement doesn't go away. Well, it hasn't gone away yet. I guess eventually sometimes you always burn out. But right now I'm still so excited about this project. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started. This is my, I think, 4th or 5th time trying to do this. I'm not sure why, but I'm off today. I don't know if you can hear, but all the things are congested. Plague is in the county. If you've watched me before, welcome back. And if it's your first time watching, welcome to my bedroom. I don't normally film in my bedroom, but my son is already in bed. My husband just got home from a 14-hour day at work, and so he's unwinding with some sort of video game where people are shooting people and talking on headsets. I'm upstairs where it's quiet and zen. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I know about me when it comes to my crafting is I like to be a part of the things. So I'm planning to do a few stitch-alongs. The first stitch-along I think is a Weasley started stitch-along. I don't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure this is Drew's. And it's Santa Sunday. So for Santa Sunday, I am planning to work on Prairie Schooler Santas. There's a million of them. They're all for different years. And the Santa I'm starting with 1996. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you're able to figure out how to stitch from this, more power to you. So go ahead, try and take a screenshot and good luck with that. I do have a copy of the pattern. Your guess is as good as mine as to where I put it, but I have my working copy and that's all I need for this project. For my Santa project, I'm working on a legacy project, and the way that I refer to a legacy project is in honor or in memory of someone who has inspired me as a stitcher. So in September last year, I lost my aunt, who was a cross-stitcher, and so the weekend of her passing, I started a Afghan. It's one of those Lady Elizabeth Charles Craft, I think, 14 count even weave, and I started my Prairie Schooler Santa. So far I've done his jacket and his backpack, and I stopped working on him because I got stuck because I'm not sure how I'm going to do the white. Needle minder is just a little, frosted pumpkin. I think it's the mocha chocolate thing. But this pattern has white, red, pink, flesh, green, and gray. So I've got an ecru, I've got a white, I've got pineapple sorbet from Gas, and I've got 2 other whites that I'm going to experiment with. So I'm going to take a corner and just see if I can find a white that shows, because this is pretty white and it's not working. So for Santa Sundays, so on Sundays, I'm planning to work on this with the intent of when this Santa is done, we'll see if I work on another Santa or if I wait until November, December when I feel Christmas inspired again. But I would like to at least finish the first Santa. And then I think my plan, I'm not sure if I'm going to date them or not. So I'd like your feedback on that. Should I date my Santas, or should I leave them undated and then when the whole project is done, date it? I don't know. But I think it'd be cool to have, and it's kind of a legacy project that, you know, in theory, my family could have someday after I'm gone. Next thing I'm planning to work on is a stitch along I do with Bendy Michelle and Delicious Threads Jen, and that's Mirabilia Monday. I am working on my first Mirabilia, which is a labor of love, to say the least. This is not an easy project. This is by far the biggest thing I've ever attempted, and it's complex. But watching It's Kismet Diana work on hers made me feel like it really is just one X at a time. So the Mirabilia that I'm planning to do is the Christmas Elegance, and I named her Odette. I don't know why, but she looks like an Odette to me. And so Odette is being worked on 16 count Crystal Masquerade from Picture This Plus. And for whatever reason, when I started her, I decided to do her like a Haid. So I started with 100 blocks at a time. And I think I made the decision about 2 days ago that moving forward, my intent is to do 3 lengths a week. What I mean by that is if I thread up my needle with this dark, I think it's 500, the really dark green, I work on the dark green until it runs out. I then, you know, either do another strand of the dark green or I do a different color, depending on where I'm at in the design, and I work on it until it's out. I was going 10 by 10 grid all the way across. I think I still want to do that because I'm very curious to see how big this is going to turn out. There's a lot of fabric there. So I'm so curious to see how big she's going to turn out. So I might still do that just to get that feel. And then my intent is to work up and around and over, you know, follow the pattern and do all the things. On New Year's Eve, Soulful Stitching posted a let's work on all of our whips before the new year. I got up around 5 or 6 a.m. I had my cup of coffee and I stitched on all the things. I made it through half my projects, so I think I stitched till like 11 o'clock. I didn't make it to midnight. I barely make it till 9 o'clock most days. But I didn't make it till midnight. But I got through half my projects, and I walked away feeling 2 things. 1, discouraged that I have so many starts that I can't finish anything. And 2, completely burned out because I forced myself to stitch so much that I didn't want to touch my stitching again for about a week. So I'm really trying to approach my return to crafting from a very different perspective. That being said, today is the 18th, and I've spent the first 2 weeks of the year making projects 3 to 5 days solid and then doing nothing. So I just finished 2 nights ago a quilt that I had started on Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday was Martin Luther King Day. And then Tuesday night, I got off work at 3:30, was home by 4, and I worked out until 8 o'clock. So I worked 4 days solid on the quilt, sent it off to the quilters. It should be here by Wednesday of next week, at which point I need to bind it, wash it, and then turn it in for an auction that is Saturday for one of my husband's friends who had a stroke during surgery. And the family's trying to raise money to help with his rehabilitation expenses and medical expenses, and he's not able to work. So they're looking to support him. And my husband asked me to make a quilt for it. So I just, of course, burned myself out. So this weekend, I have very exciting plans. I am planning my girlfriend is going to be home from college. She's our nanny, but she's one of my friends. We're going to watch Hallmark movies, and we're going to hang out and stitch. And my goal is to stitch on whatever I want for as long as I want, and if I don't want, that's okay too. I'm trying to stop telling myself I have to do things and start doing the things I want to do. So right now I know that I want this product as a finished result. And I know that doing it like this is feeling too strict. But at the same time, I really like how it looks. So my goal is to only work on this on Mondays. And right now my plan is 3 lengths because that's about what I've been putting in anyway. And I feel like if I say 3 lengths instead of finish a box, then I'm not cutting the thread partially to fill in the gaps, and I'm actually starting to feel like I'm making some progress, because I feel like if I were to take the dark green and let it go until I ran out of thread, I would get further than telling myself I can only work in this little 10 by 10 square, do the dark green, then the light green, then the blue, and I'll start to see progress sooner. That being said, the only way I'm going to see progress is if I work on it. So for Memorabilia Monday, consistently, I'd like to continue work on this. Blanket, Memorabilia Monday, stitch along. There are lots of stitch alongs, and last year? I don't know. I've started all the frosted pumpkins, and I've never finished any of them. So I'm still kind of putzing around on Woodland Sampler, but I did decide to be a grown-up and not start Into the Jungle until it's done, because I'm frustrated by the fact that I finished none of them. However, my son started the Dragon Sound by Ingleside Imaginarium last year, and Brittany is a family, she's definitely one of his champions, and he loves her stuff. And then Brittany announced her 2018 Sal and called it Guardians of Notre Dame. And this is what it looks like. A couple people have finished it. You can see the hashtag on Instagram. To me, the word Sal means hashtag. So anything that I can apply a hashtag to is usually the stuff I participate in. Santa Sunday, Memorabilia Monday, Guardians of Notre Dame Sal. I've just started. I'm still on the frames. I am choosing to do both my frame and my fill in Fancy Floss. So the frame is in Tin Bucket, and then I'm going to fill in with I think Moonlit Path is the color it calls for. So that'll be that. I'm doing it on 16 count Aida in the color Pewter by Picture This Plus. And my needle minder was gifted to me by the Bee sisters, Olivia and Elena. I will point out to them that I am also a bee, so if they're seeking a third sister, I'm happy to fill out an application. However, the irony is not lost on me that they sent me a badger, which is the mascot of the Harry Potter Hufflepuff house of Hogwarts. My first name is Helga. I am not a Hufflepuff. I identify with the House of Slytherin. So those are my 3 traditional Sals: Santa Sunday, Memorabilia Monday, Guardians of Notre Dame. Then you have Year Whips. My Year Whips projects are simple. My intent is to only have 5, but one of those 5s counts for 13. So the first Year Whips I'm going to talk about is going to fall under the Dark 13 theme. So Dark 13, I think, is an Emily C. creation. Again, it's a hashtag, and it usually is around Halloween projects. Sorry, I'm stiffy. There's something going around. I am planning to do the design by Chris and Kay, Fox and Jackal. It was a free design called Midnight Meeting. In my mind, I see the Mad Hatter and Alice, but I don't know if I'm going to change her dress to blue or if I'm going to leave it as is. I absolutely adore the house, and that tree is phenomenal. Also, Picture This Plus Aida. I think this is Dapple. Yes, Dapple. I found myself constantly wondering if I were considered a real stitcher, because I only stitch on 16 and 18 count Aida. I have really bad eyes. I get piercing headaches, and I wear glasses. I have bad eyes. I could show you, but it's really creepy. But when my eyes are tired, they actually move. So I recently saw a video by Audrey Stitchy Witch where she was working on this stunning full coverage piece, and she did it completely in 14 count Nita. And Audrey, I consider a real stitcher. Like, her stuff is stunning. And she's using fabric I can see. So I applaud my friends that use 40 count. It's beautiful. I can't do it. So I'm going to stick with 16 count because that works for me. So I've started my tree. For some reason, I've always been a start in the corner person. I don't like to start in the middle. I like to start in the corner. So I think I'm starting right about here. It looks like that's what that is. So I've started the tree. And I'll just keep working on the tree until the tree is done. And then my goal is to go down the tree and then over. I'm looking for the... Excuse me. That's what happens when you lay on your bed, right? So, it's a free pattern, so I guess it's trying to show you, right? No one's going to care. Yeah. So the tree goes down to the ground, and so I can just take the tree and then go up to the dude, and then the girl, and then this amazing house. I love this house. Isn't that gorgeous? It's written for DMC. It was a free design. I thank them for it. I think it was probably one of the first patterns they ever put out. And it has this amazing haunting story that goes with it that I absolutely adore. My house is going to be done with picket fence and caramel thorn by Picture This Below. No, by Gast. So there's those. This is not going to show, but take my word for it. And then my windows are out of butternut squash. This is not. You're not seeing that the way I am. That's okay though. And then the building, oh, the harvest moon for the moon. But the building is, I don't know if you can tell from this picture, but it's two, I think it's two different shades of red. No, I'm not sure. Let me look. That's not it. I am scattered. Yes, there's a red and there's a dark red. So my plan is to use Gentle Arts Schoolhouse Red and Pomegranate. And I'm hoping you can see the difference in them. So one is significantly richer than the other, but I think they go that's close-ish. They go beautifully together. So I'm really excited about this project. And I'm not sure why I stopped working on it other than 40 plus whips. I don't know if I've already told you, but I tried to do them all on New Year's Eve and I only made it through half, which is really depressing. And it told me I had too many. So what I tried to do is all of my Europe whip projects were projects that I still felt excitement about for a variety of reasons. Some because of who they were for and some because of what they were. So like my Santa blanket, I'm really excited to do that because I want to start that project so that I know that I have a legacy project that's in progress. This one, I really want to stitch that house. And I can't stitch that house until I finish that tree. Because it's so I tried really hard to pick projects that I was excited about. For different reasons, but that I was excited about, right? So there's the first one for your whips. And that's Dark 13. So I've got Santa Sunday, Mirabilia Monday, Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a movie. Guardians of Notre Dame, Odette, I said Mirabilia Monday. I'm missing Dark 13. So there's 4. So I have 4 formal sals that other people beyond my 2 closest stitchy friends use. From there, I want to work on projects that I'm excited about. And this is where it gets a little bit complicated. So the first one that I'm super excited about, it's on my year of WIPs, but I don't imagine there's any way I'm going to finish it this year. So you can go back on my last video if you really want to know, but the Sonoma County fires did a number on my head, and I'm having a hard time. And I wasn't affected, so I'm going to make that clear. Like, it's completely a survivor's guilt that I'm trying to work through and having a hard time with it. But what I realized was I didn't really have projects that I felt were worth saving. And I'll just leave it at that. So I decided for myself I needed that. And one of the things I wanted is there's a donut stitch pattern of Alice in Wonderland that I absolutely adore. And I decided to make it into a stocking. So this is how I see it in my head. It's not reality. I have a piece of fabric from another stocking pattern where they give you the shape of the stocking. And then the chart is charted with the stocking on it. And so what I did is I kind of sort of faked it myself. So I took, I don't know where the pattern is. It's like this big. Because what I had to do is I had to take the pattern and tape it all together. And then I took my stocking, taped it to the window, put my pattern on top, and traced it. Once it was traced on my pattern, I taped my pattern to the window, and then I said, it's 14 count-ish, and I pasted my fabric, or I held my fabric up against my pattern glued to the window, and then used the sunlight to trace. So I've just started, so all I have so far is the rabbit, but you see this hard line here. This is approximately where my stocking ends, and then this is the other side. And so I started with White Rabbit just because I didn't want to start with randoms. I wanted to have actual characters. So rather than like I'm going to do all the frame or I'm going to do all of this, I'm actually doing my characters one by one. So I started with the rabbit. And when Rabbit is done, I plan to do Alice. And I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of a pencil line to tell me where I am. The first thing I'm doing is I don't like it that his pants don't show, so I'm giving him blue pants. So his blue pants will be the same color as Alice's blue dress, and I'm hoping that looks okay, because I don't like him without pants. I don't know why, I just don't. So this is a project I'm still very excited about, but I recognize that the likelihood for it being finished for Year of WIPs is slim to none. It's on 14 count Aida. You can see here I'm a Flosstube bag user. So this is the color that is all the frames, because every time I go to Michael's, I just buy another one because I'm on. My understanding is you use like 16 of these when you're done. And I'm not planning to do the whole design, but I'm planning to do a fair amount of it. Also, that's a really unique shaped stocking. And so this is my start. These are my hard lines for my stocking. It's folded up here and then on the Q-snap. My minders are both from Delicious Threads Jen. I have Alice. And then I have the card guards for painting the roses red. Why would you do such a thing? Because the queen doesn't like them. They're white. So I have Alice minders on it, and this is my stocking for me. In my mind, I'm going to finish mine. I'm going to finish my son's, and then eventually I'll start one for my husband. My son's is not in my Year of WIPs. Mine is. My next Year of WIPs project is a gift for one of my dearest friends who just moved away from me. She used to live here, and now she lives in, I think she's in Boston. I don't know, she's on the East Coast. She's nannying for her brother and his family, and she's applying for jobs at aquariums over there. She's a marine biologist who adores Jane Austen. So the project that I'm doing, it's Lindy Stitches, it's the designer, and it's the Pride and Prejudice blessing. One, I love the person it's for, but two, it's a nice, satisfying, quick project because I can do a letter or two in every sitting. I would like to have this done by her birthday. I don't know if that's realistic, but I'm going to try. I have some color substitutions because I'm stitching this from stash. So I got most of the colors, but a few of them I went like a shade lighter, shade darker, and I don't think it's going to matter because, sorry, someone just scared me. It's all this stuff, the flowers. So shade lighter, shade darker, whatever I come up with is what I'll do. And I think it's going to look awesome. So that's my third year of Lips project. Okay, 1, 2, 3, yeah. Do you ever find charts on your bed and you forgot what they were? Oh, that's that. You forgot what they were? So what's that? 5, 6. Okay. 2 more. And then the big one. The next 2 are for my home. One is for my husband. One is for me. My husband loves John Muir. We both love John Muir. He is he's gone now, but he is, I never had to know how to say that. An avid outdoorsman. And there is a place here in Sonoma County, no, it's in Murray County, but it's called Muir Woods. It's named after John Muir. And it's one of our favorite places to go hiking. So Kylie Richards, Sleepy Kitty Stitches, made this and had somebody create a chart for her. And then I reached out to her and asked her if I could do it too. And she said, of course, because stitchers are amazing. So this is not a great rendition of it, but it's all I can find. But it says, the mountains are calling and I must go. Again, working on it on something count Ada, 14 or 16. I actually don't know what this one is. Yeah, I don't know what, I think it's 18, but it might be 16. And I've just started. So that's all I have. This might be 18 because those stitches are really popping. It's a single color project. It's just white. And I'm using Blanc. Not B5200, but Blanc. Because again, it's what I had. And I'm just doing one little X at a time, and someday it'll be done. I want to say this is Storm, maybe it's called. It's Picture This Plus Ada. That's what I have. I don't know where this came from. I think it's a Grand Guard somebody made me somewhere along the way, or I bought. I don't remember anymore. And sorry, I'm putting everything back in the bags. I'm making noise, but if I don't put them away, I won't put them away. And then my last little project is for us. So, again, don't know how many times I've filmed this now. I think I'm on my 4th or 5th try. I'm not sure if I've shared this in my new videos or in the ones that were deleted. But my husband and I have been, we'll say, flirty since high school. We got together 10 years after high school, but we've known each other since high school and we flirted that whole time. And so this is a DMC, I think it's Russian, but it's a DMC kit. And it reminds me of us when we were young, including his hair. So it's called The Walk, and I call it The Anniversary. So my goal is to have this done by September 20th, which will be our 10-year wedding anniversary. I also want this one. I don't know if you can see this one, where she's giving him a smooch in front of the locker. I want that one too. It may not be in front of a locker, but in my mind it's a locker. But my husband is 6'6" and I'm 5'4". So we have a ridiculous height difference. And I just think it's really sweet. So I'm doing this on Picture This Plus Crystal Sand 14 count. I started this for, I think, last year's Mania. And again, my goal is to have this done by our 10-year anniversary. And I've started, but I'm not, I don't know if it's shining through or not. I'm having trouble tonight. Can you tell? What did Michelle say the other day? The struggle bus? I wasn't laughing at you, Michelle, but I thought that was really funny sentiment. And I backstitched the butterfly because I'd never done backstitch before and I wanted to see what would happen. It really is cool how things just pop out when you backstitch them. So I'm working on her dress. And I hope to have this done for our 10-year anniversary, which is, you see that? It's September 20th. So that's my 5-6. I think it's 6. 5. I don't know. I think it's 6. My last year whips project is my, what we'll call our easy wins. And it's my adding to the Sal world, my country cottage needleworks, little house needleworks year in stitches Sal thing that they're doing. I don't remember what it's called. I don't remember anything it's called anymore. My brain is gone and it's 8:53 at night, way past my bedtime. Well, not really. I go to bed at 9, but it's getting close. So I have all the Sheepy Virtues. And I'm starting with the first one, which is Hope. And somebody somewhere on the internet created this, which is all the frames. And the idea is you put all of the Little House Needleworks around the perimeter, and then you put the Country Cottage Needleworks in the middle. So, because of how that's written, also I know, first world problems, but I hate that they put this on legal size paper. I much prefer letter. Just one of my pet peeves. I'll photocopy it and do it in 2 halves. And I always make a working copy anyway. Because I scribble. I'm a highlighter, so I like to be able to scribble on things, and I don't want to scribble on actual patterns because I'd like to be able to pass them on if somebody wanted them. Like I said, I have all the virtues. And I have all the virtue buttons. Lots of virtue buttons. They're all there. Yep, they're all in there. And then I think I made like 4 copies of the big old huge chart. So I got a whole stack of copies in there. But my understanding is I can count this as one big project, or I can count it as lots of little projects. So I'm going to count it as lots of little projects. But that means because my year of whips is at 18, to be qualified for prizes, I have to finish 9. And as I only have 6 projects that I've declared, unless, I guess I could throw Gargoyles, Odette, and Santa in there, but then my 18, 19, 20 goes to 21, which means I need to finish 11 to be eligible for prizes. Because again, you got to finish half. And my finishing record for last year was 4. So I don't feel like that would be realistic. So I'm going to stick with calling these individuals. And if I can finish a few of these and a few of those, we're good. The reality is the prizes are stitchy supplies and I don't need anything. So I'm not playing for prizes. I'm more playing for bragging rights. This is on Legacy 16 count, non-sparkly. Just a nice, simple, neutral. I love it. And then I picked my own green for the frames because the green that they called for I didn't like. So what I do, somebody asked me this on on Instagram they asked. They asked me what the tags were for. So the way I do it, I'm a Flosstube user, right? So I put my threads in the baggies. And sometimes I use a bobbin and sometimes I don't. So most of the time I don't. Which means I pull off a length, I pull out my strand, and I leave just loose in the baggie what's left. The reason this is on a bobbin is because I already had wound this bobbin when I was still in the land of I want all my threads on a bobbin in a case. And then because it was my frame color, I bought a second one. So because I'm using my own color for the frames, I actually wrote on the bag what the color is and what the project is so I can remember. But I have a lot of bobbins that I'm never going to use now because I don't like bobbins. So I actually use bobbins to label the projects that go with my baggies. So this one's my Sheepy Virtues. and this one is Anniversary. And Anniversary is one of those Russian charts that uses lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of colors. But it was on a DMC card where they had told you what colors you were going to use and how much you got. And I actually took that to Michael's and color matched every color in there and made my own set because I'm terrified of running out of thread. I don't know why. It's not like I ever finished anything, so I'm not sure where I got it in my head. I'm not going to have enough supplies. One has to actually stitch to not have enough supplies. So that's my plans. It's a lot. It's probably more than I can handle. But right now I'm feeling excited about my cross stitch again for the first time in a long time. I have a really amazing support network with the ladies in the NorCal Stitchers. We try and meet like once a month. They're really neat chicks. I have a lot of fun with them. I received a Stitchy Kindness in the mail from one of them the other day. And it was one of those days where you name it, it went wrong. And so coming home to a cross stitch kit and a pack of gum that were both pineapple themed, because pineapples are like my thing, was so special. And she's a cool chick, and the fact that she did that for me meant a lot. The other thing that I do, and I don't know if other people do this, is I do things like write the date I start things, and then I use highlighter tape religiously to kind of mark where I'm at. I think my goal for January on this is just to finish the frame. And then everyone keeps telling me once the frame's done, the design will go fast. But I don't stitch fast. And I kind of prefer it that way because I like the stitching as a quiet, calm, slow activity. Year of Whips. Lots of goals. Trying to keep those goals realistic. And hoping to have a really stitchy year. So that's all I have for you. And I look forward to seeing your progress. Join me on all the hashtags. Let's go through them again. Santa Sunday, Guardians of Notre Dame, Mirabilia Monday, Dark 13, Year of Whips 2018. Happy stitching!